able to recover the fumble, but not before they lost maybe a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down and 16.
Brings up 3rd down and 15.
Actually, no gain on the play at all. It racked at the line of scrimmage, so they're very fortunate to recover the ball. 3rd down and 15. Now they go to the shotgun with the 2 backs on either side. 2 split wide to the left, 1 to the right. And
there's a huge bat.
And the whistle is blowing. Quarterback quit on it.
Obviously, the whistle was blown, but that looked a lot worse than it was, I guess.
Another procedure on Grovetown. So Grovetown going the wrong way. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 20. And not an impressive beginning for the Warriors. 11 has checked back in. So apparently Smith was able to fix whatever was ailing him. So they go to the shotgun. Going to run. The linebackers are ready, and he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 20, punting situation for Grovetown. North Augusta will get the ball. And watching the game last week in the replay, LaMarcus Moore is the return man on punts, and he had a big return last week. North Augusta very opportunistic in the game last week. They blocked a punt, returned a punt, recovered a couple of fumbles, and able to pull it out with just a minute left to go in the ball game.
North Augusta is going to get great field position at a minimum.
Low takes a big hop right to Moore gets to the outside, cuts inside, gets across the 35 to the 32-yard line. And North Augusta will put it in play for the first time this evening. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10.
And LaMarcus Moore, pretty nice run back there. Brings up, what, 3rd and 8?
3rd and 8.
3rd and 8.
And I would guess this is 4-down territory, so they'll see what they can get on this and try to pick up the 1st down. Rolls to the right, throws downfield. He's got a man who's open that overshoots him, got him turned around. He set up in between the defenders and was wide open. I believe that was Tony Caldwell.
Yeah, and they did have him open. They had a little bit of a mismatch out there, and just off his fingertips, a little high.
So 4th and 8, and they will go for it.
Brings up 4th down.
I think they'll throw it right down here to the bottom of the screen again.
Looking to the middle now. Now he's under pressure. He's going to be hit back at the 35-yard line. He'll get to the 34, but they will turn it over on downs. Will the Yellow Jackets. Grovetown takes over. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. So both teams a little anemic in their opening drives.
That's a good word for it. I was going to say that both offensive coordinators are a little upset. Those 2 series were not very well executed by either team.
So North Augusta, rather Grovetown, on that exchange from the original line of scrimmage, they picked up 10 yards. From where they were and they punted, they picked up 20 yards. So a little bit better field possession for the Warriors. This time shotgun formation, 1 back in the backfield. Another flag. And Grovetown just can't get it going. And not sure what that call was.
I think they're calling delay a game.
That was a different signal, but a 5-yard walk-off, 1st and 15. Now back to the traditional shotgun formation, 2 backs in the backfield on either side of Bryant. And a high snap over his head. He picks it up. Now he's going to try to run and get forward. He's going to lose yardage all the way back inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. A 10-yard loss, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 25. And Grovetown, based on what we saw last week, they had success running from the I formation, but apparently they've seen something on film that that's not going to work.
Well, so far what they're doing isn't working either.
That's true.
Very sloppy. Very, very sloppy.
Two split wide to the right, one to the left. And they go to the eye for a minute. Another fumble, and North Augusta is going to recover it. Jordan Wilburn, I believe, was the man who recovered it. Maybe it was 23. R.J. Felton with the recovery. Yeah, that was more of a look what I found. He ran back there and the ball was sitting right there on the ground.
All right, now let's see if North Augusta can take advantage this time. They got a great break to start the ball game. Couldn't move the ball at all. Let's see what they do here. And they've got them outmanned to the left there. This could be a touchdown on the first play.
Chandler Law Firm, first down at the 13-yard line. This is Williams, the other running back. He spins, but he's going to lose yardage. He's going to drop 2 yards. It'll bring up second down and 12.
Brought down by Latrell Walker and Devon Arrington.
The tackle that time for Grovetown was by Latrell Walker, number 24. He is quite a ball player. He's their leading tackler, and he had a great game last week against Midland Valley, and that was a big tackle. Caused a loss of yardage.
So a loss of 2 yards. Another inside handoff hit hard, and the Grovetown defense is playing tough right here. If you remember last week, Coach, the Midland Valley had success in the first half on long, short passes.
Tell you what, Jeremiah Williams, number 32, made a nice tackle right there in the hole.
No gain, second down and 13. Well, actually, that'll be third down.
I think there's a penalty that they're talking about.
6:44 to go over the quarter. Going to be a procedure penalty, a shift against North Augusta. That's going to back them up. 21.
So the referee's using their flags here to open up. Got an illegal shift. So it'll still be second down and 18. Neither team getting much going on offense here in the beginning. 6:35 left to go in the first quarter. Now a quick pass gets his man. He's got to see him. He's at the 5 and down to the 1-yard line. North Augusta.
That was a terrific job by Tanner White that time. There were 2 people crawling all over him. He was able to side home that ball to the receiver down to the 1-yard line. That's the kind of thing you need to do down here.
North Augusta going quick. Chandler Law Firm first and goal from the 1. They get the first down of the game, and now quarterback keeps. White gets into the end zone. North Augusta goes up 6-0, 6:18 left to go in the first quarter. And finally, some offense here in tonight's ball game.
And that pass that was completed once again, he was almost sacked. Really a good job getting rid of the ball. Nice run by the receiver, and takes it down to the 1-foot line. Tanner White, 1-yard touchdown.
Snap's good, kick is up, and it's good. North Augusta leads 7-0 here in the first quarter. We'll take a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back on the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
I knew he was in trouble. I didn't really know that it was a heart attack, but I knew he was in trouble. His right coronary artery was 99% blocked and already collapsed.
So within 10 minutes, they had put a stent in.
I'm so glad that we made that decision to go to Aiken Regional right away.
We definitely made the right decision in going to Aiken Regional.
I don't think we could have gotten better care.
Gets a 20-yard pass down to the 1-yard line. And Tanner White takes it in the rest of the way to get the lead 7-0 over Grovetown here in the first quarter.
And it was Tyler Nichols with the extra point. He's the leading kicker in the area. He's got a field goal to his credit in the first couple games, and he's also, I think, 7 for 9 now out of extra points.
He also handles the punting duties for North Augusta. which we've seen that with several teams this year. They're the kicker and the punter are the same people.
And, you know, so far this year, it seems to me that the punters for most of the teams that we've seen, we haven't seen these two much yet, but most of them not quite as good as some of the punters we had last year in this area.
No, we haven't seen anybody be just fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. It's a young season.
That's right.
And we'll, at some point, if North Augusta gets in a position to punt, they've pretty much played the whole game, or at least the first quarter here inside their 35. And they've had the ball twice. They score on their second possession to take this 7-0 lead.
And this is a little bit unusual. Grayson Bridgers is the kickoff man, okay, even though Tyler Nichols is the extra point and field goal kicker.
Kicks this.
Nice and high.
Oh, they get a little confusion on that. He slides down at the 16. The ball got loose. Not sure whether the ground covered that or caused that. They're going to say he was down at the 17-yard line. And he slipped down and fell on the ground, and the ball squirted out.
I'm taking a look at the coaches over there for Grovetown. I'm surprised if they haven't had a heart attack already. This is the horrible start for their football team.
That was one of those miscommunication deals where you take it, I'm taking it, who's taking it?
And somebody's got to call it and say, I got it, and get it in the air, not let it bounce around. That's all kinds of trouble.
So the I formation with Brown at the back of the eye. And they look to him, and they got a man over the middle, and he catches it, and that's a good pass. That's Smith with the catch after getting his equipment straightened out in the early drive. They pick up their first down of the game, moves it out to the 44-yard line. Good play forward.
And, you know, Kirk Smith is a good-looking athlete. He's 6'2", goes about 170 pounds, only a junior. But he had a couple of nice catches last week also. That was a nice throw by Bryant.
25-yard catch and run. So Grovetown gets out of that shadow of their end zone. Now they go to their feature back, J.Q. Brown. He doesn't go down easy. He picks up 2 yards. He hit somebody right at the line of scrimmage. I think it took 3 hits to get him to the ground. 2nd down and 8.
Okay, and that's going to be something we'll see a lot of tonight probably. Brown is a good running back. He really hasn't been able to break loose, and I don't know whether that's because of the blocking up front or just the great defenses he's been playing against, but he hasn't had any big games so far, even though he's a talented runner. Collier, Torres, other linebackers there for North Augusta, doing a good job so far on him.
Back to pass, Josh back now going to run, going to pick up yardage, sort of holding the football like a loaf of bread. Remember coaches telling us,
and don't do that.
Like a loaf of bread, but he doesn't fumble. He's going to pick up 7 yards, 3rd down and 1.
Took a pretty good shot as he was going down.
And you got to think they'll go to J.Q. Brown on this play, needing 1 yard. They're in North Augusta territory for the first time tonight. And quick I formation, hands it off. Brown with a blocker in front of him, going to pick up the 1st down. 1.5 yards was what he got, and he needed only 1 yard. So he's going to move the chains. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. Grovetown with 2 first downs on this drive.
And that was a pretty good defensive situation there for North Augusta. They hit him pretty hard, pushed him back, but his forward progress did get that yard that he needed.
And there's going to be a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. North Augusta leads. 4:05 left to go in the first quarter. 7-0. The Jackets lead.
I always ask myself, would I want me to represent me? Would I want a lawyer who is prepared, who is passionate, who is capable? And every day that we represent our clients, we're telling our clients that you can count on us to bring every skill, every ability, and all of our passion in representing your interests. That's what it means to count on Chandler. That means that you can count on us to fight for you.
7-0, North Augusta leads, 4:05 left to go in the first quarter. And Grovetown goes to the sidelines to talk about what they want to do, and I'm sure they would love to answer North Augusta here after a very, very difficult beginning.
A horrible beginning. They've had one play, really. That pass play is all they've done. It was a big one, over 20 yards. Got them a first down, got them into decent shape. But North Augusta's defense has been able to stop Brown tonight so far.
Now they take another player off the field, and I guess that's an equipment issue. Got to wonder what in the world is wrong. That time it was Bashan Morris they sent to the sidelines. Now they hand off to Brown. Brown digging hard, moving his feet. That's Cole Brown.
Cole Brown.
He picked up 3 yards, second down and 7.
Tyler Mullins back in the ball game. He had a couple nice catches last week.
It's amazing what you can do when you're not playing 2nd and 15 and 2nd and 20. Kind of open up your playbook a little bit more as they're on the move.
I formation. 2 split wide to the left, 1 to the right. Fake, going to throw a quick pass out, gets his man. Once again, that's Kirk Smith, who had the big play that got him out to midfield. Now he catches a big pass, going to move the chains again. Chandler off for him, 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
And I was impressed that time by Corey Bryant. He got rid of that ball in a hurry. Let's watch that on the replay. Just a little play action, okay, and the ball is out of his hands. That's big time right there. Knew right where the receiver was going to be and put it out there for him.
14 yards on the play. You said they needed to pass. They're passing on this series. Now hands it off. That's Brown, the JQ variety, back with the ball.
A little bit better contained, although they did wrap him up right there at the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much on the play.
Got a short gain, if any. Nope, got back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down, 10.
No gain on the run there from Brown.
And Brown is a pretty stocky runner. They list him at 6 foot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just a shade under that, but 175, 180 pounds.
They ran him a little bit to the outside, tried to get him outside last week. Haven't done that yet. Now they go from the shotgun, going to roll to his right. Going to try to get, he gets outside. Good job running by, now he fumbles it and it goes out of bounds. So they'll retain possession, and he had the first down when he was going down.
Yes, he did.
16.
And that's a pretty good effort by Bryant. Okay. Looked like the defender was going to be able to corner him, and he didn't. He got outside. Lots of pressure. Same thing we saw last week from Midland Valley.
Picked up 16 yards on the play. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. Grovetown moving the football after a terrible start. That busted play there. That just didn't get going, and Bryant's going to lose yardage. And a little bit what we saw last week. They will shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they've done that so far tonight. They've done a pretty good job of doing that.
2nd down, 12 coming up.
Front 4 for North Augusta is putting on pressure, too. They're getting some penetration, just like we saw last week out of Midland Valley. Linebackers, very active.
Now, J.K. Brown, the lone setback in this formation. So this time they're going to try to get him outside, and great containment. Here comes a flag, too, in the middle of the pile. Usually where that comes from is a hold call, so we'll see if that's what it is, but it's a loss nonetheless. Holding against Grovetown is the call, so let's see if North Augusta takes that. He lost pretty good yardage.
And let's watch this now here. Number 4 and number 36, okay? We've got Darian Gibson and Kerry Collier. And we'll hear those names a lot tonight. They are very, very active. Great penetration that time. Thrown for a big loss.
So North Augusta took the penalty, a 10-yard walk-off. Well, now they're saying that was the law. They did not take the penalty. They declined it, and that's where the ball was spotted. So the 26-yard line, 3rd down and long here. I think it's 3rd and 20. Steps up, goes in the middle, got his man Smith. Smith moves into the 11. He's going to be short of the 1st down. But Smith having quite a night at wide receiver after getting his uniform squared away in that opening drive.
He's a nice target. He really is. Good-sized kid. Holds on to the ball well. He's taken some shots after his receptions, but he's done a nice job so far tonight.
So it's going to be a 4th down. And Grovetown decides they'll go for it.
Darian Gibson, number 4, was in that last play also as a pass defender.
They need 7 yards. Bryant looks to his right, going to float it out there over his head, and that was going to be covered. Colt Brown was the intended receiver. He couldn't bring it in, so they're going to turn it over on downs. North Augusta holds inside the 20. So North Augusta will take over 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
And you know, the defender that time didn't sack the quarterback, but he was in between the quarterback and the intended target, had to try to throw it over his head, and that made him throw it over to the receiver's head also. Good defensive play.
Even if a perfect pass and he catches it, North Augusta had it covered on the outside. I don't believe he was going to pick up the necessary yardage. So good defensive stand to keep Grovetown out of the end zone and retain the 7-0 lead. Buxton will be stopped, and he hasn't gotten loose yet.
You know, he had a big game the first game of the season. He was held in check last week, though. They slowed him down a good bit.
And the final seconds tick off from the 1st quarter. We've got a quarter in the books here at the Jackets Nest at North Augusta High School, where the North Augusta Yellow Jackets lead 7-0 on the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
Aiken Ophthalmology provides high quality, comfortable, and dependable treatment in Aiken and North Augusta. With our newly expanded facility, we now have 4 experienced physicians that are up to date on the latest procedures, and our surgery center offers the finest eye care technology available to better serve you. Make your appointment today with Aiken Ophthalmology.
Their mistakes, I would expect that in the 1st ball game of the year. We're in the 3rd ball game of the year. They should have had some of those things ironed out by now. They really shot themselves in the foot in that 1st quarter.
2nd down and 9. That keeper by the quarterback, White, and he's hit as he gets to the 15, maybe the 16. They'll give him the 16. He'll pick up 2 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7. I believe that White is the senior.
Yes, he is.
And he was scheduled to be the quarterback, but I think in the opener he was a little nicked up and didn't play a lot, and they were waiting to bring him along. He's gone the whole way tonight. Backed up, got a man in the slot, and out past the 30, now the 40, 45 and 50, and he's down at the 46-yard line into Grovetown territory. Nice play. Number 14 is Julius Walker with the reception.
And Tanner White did a great job that time and I hope at some point we'll be able to get a replay on that one. He really did a fine job looking the defenders off and throwing that ball in a nice seam. Very patient, well thrown, nice reception, good run. Well, you can't say too much. It's a great play.
38 yards on the game for the Yellow Jackets. Fakes the handoff, going over the middle, got him, and hit hard. And now he may have taken a step, and they knocked him hard. And they're going to say, it looks like Grovetown
is going to get the ball. It looks like they're calling it a fumble.
Looked like he took a couple of steps. We'll have to look at the replay and see if, in our opinion, he did have the ball. And here's the Aiken Ophthalmology. Did you see that replay? Big hit coming up. He's got it. And I don't know, that may have been incomplete. What do you think, Coach?
You know, that's awful close. I'm glad I don't have to call that one.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't even tell, even on the monitor here, whether or not he had possession completely when he got hit.
He took a step, and they have kept the chains in their spot. They're, of course, attending to the wide receiver who's down. We've got a Aiken Regional Medical Center timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back and report on our injury.
I had back issues for a while. I kept going back with different complaints. My doctor, he said, surgery's not going to do you any good. So I would recommend to you therapy. After therapy, I'm a lot better. I'm so grateful for that. I'm a lot better. Thanks to Aiken Regional Hospital for the joy that was put back into my life. Now I'm able to get on the floor and play with the children. And it's just a relief.
But it was ruled finally incomplete.
And I think that was the right call. That's awfully tough to call that possession. Quite a shot, though. Now they hand to Buxton. Buxton tries to cut back in, and he's held up. So bring up 3rd down and 10 as he's just got back to the line of scrimmage. Good defense by Grovetown.
No game. Breaks up 3rd down. You know, as a young running back, you're going to see this. I think sometimes you just got to take it in between the tackles and take what they give you, try to hide behind that line. Here's what you need. 3rd down and 10. Shotgun white slot. Takes a snap.
Back to pass, throws in the middle. Batted down, 4th down at the 46. And the punting unit will come on. So we've seen Nichols kick an extra point. We'll see him punt here.
And the defense for Grovetown been playing pretty solid defense so far. The running game for North Augusta has been not a major factor here to start. A couple nice passes on their part has given them the 7-0 lead.
Actually, Mullins is back to receive. They're going to let it go. Not a very long punt, but it is down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. So Grovetown, who moved it all the way into the 14-yard line, now will start over at the 19. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10.
And so far, neither one of the offenses has looked particularly good tonight. And you don't know whether that's because the defense is just playing them very tough or they're just not quite as sharp as you'd like them to be.
So I formation, and they'll go back to work. Looked like he bobbled it and picked it up. Now makes a pass, almost intercepted. A little late getting that developed. That was Morris.
Well, and again, that play was messed up. The exchange to the quarterback was poor. Don't know. You never know whether it's the quarterback or the center that's responsible for that. But it was no good. The ball, I think, was laying on the ground for a second. He comes back up, and the timing had to be off. Not a well-executed play.
Come back with the I formation. 2nd down and 10.
I think we're going to get a little movement.
Grovetown has flinched here in the first half several times.
And that was a very, very, very minor flinch that time.
2nd down, 15.
Ball to 19. Excuse me, 14-yard line. 2nd down and 15. High formation again. Brian under center. Nuggets creep up in the line. They're going to bring a delayed blitz, and they're going to get it.
Blitz, ball's on the ground. It's going to be recovered by Grovetown.
Right tackle fell under the 6-yard line. How about that? A delayed blitz.
And they may have called that an incomplete pass.
And it was.
Oh, I don't think that was a pass.
I think he called it.
Did he?
His arm going forward. Yeah, he called it an incomplete pass.
Oh, that's
referee.
That's a bad call. And Devon Adams, number 78, recovers that ball. Offensive tackle, 5'11", 320.
There's a collective groan in the press box as they realize. But he was showing his arm going forward and calling it incomplete in the backfield. I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Don't know what he was looking. Of course, they don't have the benefit of the replays.
No, they don't.
So Grovetown, 3rd down and 15. Now he's going to run, keep it, just see if they can get it some yardage. They don't. They may have picked up a yard. Bring up 4th down. Punting unit on for Grovetown.
Takes away from number 21, looks a lot better.
No gain on the play. 4th down, 15.
You know, coming into this ball game, I was looking at the stats, and the linebackers for North Augusta, Darian Gibson, Chris Torres, Kerry Collier, they lead in tackles, all of them in double digits each game. And so far this night is the same story. They're all over the place. Very, very active.
Quite a bit different than what we saw last week, where the little Midland Valley team was shooting gaps. This group just lines up and stops them. Pretty decent punt this time. Nice catch over his shoulder. Now coming back. This guy's dangerous. They tackle him right at the 35-yard line. Nice return by Moore.
And LaMarcus Moore did a pretty nice job again, didn't he? Okay, he's dangerous.
Well, he did a good job so many times. The games we go into, most of the kids would just let this go. He makes a nice catch and then makes positive yardage, about 15 yards.
Yeah, I think it's even close to 20. Now, you know, with North Augusta, we're used to seeing them with some great return guys on punts. LaMarcus Moore looks pretty good, too.
He's going to bust one all the way to the end zone. Not tonight. It'll come. He's got that. Now they blow the whistle. And I think they told him to tie his shoes, believe it or not.
8:21 to go, opening half, 7-0 Yellow Jackets.
And he ties his shoestrings, and we're ready to go.
Grovetown force a 3 and out now. Brown, courtesy of a 15-yard return there by LaMarcus Moore. They start first and
North Augusta hands off.
The left side with Malik Williams. He's hit.
This is Malik Williams, the other running back. He looked really good in that final drive last week too.
And so far tonight, their running game has been just stunned. It's stopped.
And our scoreboard is working. Barnwell and Silver Bluff tied at 7.
Okay, and that is a game that we're really interested in. Two traditionally great football teams, local rivalry, 7-7 to start.
Another pass, knocked down. He caught the ball, but short game, 1 yard. Bring up 2nd down and 9.
And that was Ben DeLauder on the reception.
So White looks to the sidelines.
touchdown run for White. And that's where we stand right now.
And they probably will go for it.
Augusta, third down and 9.
Take 2 downs to get these last 9 now hit, and that he did get the pass off into a back. I thought it was going to be intentional grounding, but he actually had a receiver. They're still going to lose yardage back to the 39-yard line, but good job of
He
getting
gets
the
it to
ball.
Tony Caldwell, and I'm like you. A pretty gutsy throw there. And he's even got a blocker for him. Not much of a game. They're going to have to punt it.
So North Augusta send the punting unit back out, see if they can pin Grovetown deep. Give them the length of the field as they lead 7-0. 7:05 left to go here in the second quarter.
There's a good punt.
That bounces into the end zone. I kind of lost it as the receiver came up fair catching it. That was a good deke. And the ball hit, bounced into the end zone. Good break from Grovetown. That'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. It was a nice punt.
That was a very fine punt. One of the best we've seen all year in the games that we've covered so far.
So Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. Little surprised we haven't had a water timeout. We've had one timeout on the field where Grovetown called it and went over and talked about it. It is warm, but now the sun has gone down and might not be quite so bad. We're in this self-contained press box, which has full glass windows, and we can't hear the crowd. And don't miss the heat. It's Brown.
Nowhere to go.
We tried to get Brown in there, and he goes nowhere. North Augusta's waiting. Maybe that's why they weren't running him early on.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen Grovetown 2 weeks in a row now, and they struggle with the running game. And it looks like that's what they want to do, is run the football. They've got a couple of nice backs, but they're just not able to run it.
Well, the blocking is not something to write home about either week. As we said, they wore Midland Valley down and finally busted a big play in the fourth quarter.
There's a good score for us. Wagner Sally 24-6.
So Claire, maybe not the juggernaut we thought they were. A little quick pass. And Cole Brown hit hard at the 20-yard line. He picked up a yard, bring up 3rd down and 10. Both of these offenses struggling. North Augusta scored their touchdown off of a poor punt after some poor snap. Actually, it was they got a really good field possession. Was it a fumble? I can't even remember. Grovetown's opening 2 drives were so bad. Hard to remember how bad it was and what really went bad. And now whistles stop the play.
And we have seen the last couple of weeks some really tough hits on these receivers, okay? And that young man that made that catch there, he didn't even see the defender coming. As he caught the ball, he was facing the quarterback, and then as he turned to go downfield, which you're supposed to do, the defender was right there, and he took a tough shot, bounced right back up.
And the good thing with the defenders that we've seen so far, we haven't had any helmet
No
calls.
spearing. No, they're legit hits, but they're tough hits.
All right, they just called time to get a player off the field again. Slides up now, going to pass, got a man and overshoots him. Would have been a heck of a catch if he could have hauled that one in. Intended to Morris.
He made a good effort for it. There was a defender there.
So 4th down, 21-yard line. Punting unit comes on the field. Greenwood 21, Aiken High 7, or 7 times 21. Maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Don't know that your big upset call on that is going to.
That will be a massive upset.
Especially when they're down 21-7.
That's right.
There's a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. When we return, North Augusta leads 7-0 in the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
It all started that one family night in Dumfries, Virginia. Family night is for everybody. It's a time for families to do crafts together.
The kids just love going to Chick-fil-A for dinner. Being the single mom and getting everybody ready, it was tough. We would get there a little bit late, like on the tail end of it. Helen saw that I was having trouble getting them to Chick-fil-A for the family night on time and actually got it extended another hour. Noticing things like that, I never really told her how much she affected me, but she did.
Love you.
Move.
All right, we're coming out of a timeout. And we're going to have Grovetown having the punt right here. North Augusta will get the ball. Once again, should be pretty good field position. They got plenty of time to score another touchdown here in the first half. Over the years, North Augusta has been very, very good at that. As the quarter or the half comes to an end, they pull out all the stops and put points on the board. Let's see if they can do it this year.
All the rushing gets the clock to move. 5:02 left to go. And now the ball goes over his head. Pick it up, and he will kick it. That's the quarterback.
And it is really short.
And they're going to have it pretty much lose a couple yards, and ball's at the 19. And Grovetown just self-destructs, doesn't it?
They have been tonight. It's hard to imagine that they can continue to have problems. My goodness.
And still punted. And he just kind of hit it off the side of his foot. Nearly hit a North Augusta special teams player.
Well, I suppose that was better than a
I don't think that.
safety.
I don't think that's better than anything. They're going to give up a touchdown here, but in all likelihood, horrible.
Well, the last time they were down here, that's how North Augusta scored on a 3rd and long. Threw a pass for 20 yards down to the 1-yard line. Let's see what they come up with this time. White going to throw a quick pass, gets it in there across the 10, 5, going to go in the end zone. Touchdown, North Augusta.
Chalk up 6 for the Jackals. We just called it. Lamarcus Moore. You got to find your best athletes. Put the ball in their hands, and that time it was Lamarcus Moore.
And Lamarcus Moore, who we've seen on the punt return, catches that pass, takes it in the end zone for the final 20 yards. Touchdown, North Augusta, and the extra point to follow here.
And once again, a quick release that time by Tanner White, and a nice little pattern. Easy score. Nice run by Lamarcus Moore. Yeah.
Nice job letting the rush get to him and throw it, still being able to make the pass and get the guy in open field. Kicks up, it's good, and North Augusta leads 14-0. And let's see if we've got that Aiken Ophthalmology. Did you see that replay? There it is. Nice run to bust through that hole, take it the full way. He's an exciting football player.
Nice play. And Tyler Nichols with another extra point makes the score 14-0.
Scoreboard update. South Aiken leads Strom Thurmond 7-0, showing that maybe I'm a better predictor.
Is that game over yet?
Neither one are over yet. Back in the day, being the South Aiken PA announcer for the years I was there, they did that often and lost often.
Well, they need a win. There's no question about that. They did not expect to be 0-2 at this point after the seasons they've had recently.
Certainly the Greenwood game, you know, maybe some expectation there of having a tough go of it, but I'm sure that they thought they could handle Lakeside, and they did not. So here's the kick, and fumbled again. Grovetown, gets away. Now he's got some room. He's going to go the distance. This is number 3. Justin Franklin cuts back in. He's going to go straight in the middle of the end zone. And after fumbling it, something finally goes right for Grovetown.
I'm open-mouthed. Hey, you know, that happens a lot on kicks. He fumbles the ball, kind of relax maybe just a little bit, picks it up, and, I mean, he took off. That's a great run.
I was sure he was going to be down at the 10, and it's going to just add to the problems of Grovetown, but he made a nice little move to the outside. We'll watch the replay after this extra point, and up the sidelines he went. That was about a 91-yard return, I do believe.
I think you're right. All right, and Corey Bryant is the extra point kicker.
Quarterback, he punts and kicks. And quarterbacks. Snap, and they're going to have to work on their snapping. Hey, quarterback gets hit hard, and he slams the ball down, which you don't really blame him for that. That's pretty tough. Here's the kickoff return again.
This is a funny one. Nice move right there.
Got a block.
I thought he was going to step out of bounds.
Another block there. He got 3 or 4 good blocks.
I'll tell you what, I saw that young man on the sideline pregame. He can't weigh 130 pounds. He's probably about 125. He's a slender old thing, but he is quick.
Yeah, like you said, the little bobble of the ball, and he broke containment of that end, got outside him, and there was nobody there. And a couple of blocks, 3 of them I think I counted on the return. The extra point was no good, so North Augusta continues to lead 14-6, though the score now is.
I'm chuckling just a little bit. I'm looking at Justin Franklin's stats, and like a lot of football teams, they've got him listed at 5'10", 150. I would take a bet on that one.
Really? Brian, shot of Brian Thomas just then on the sidelines, shaking his head. That's the kind of thing that just kills you. Kind of like Dan Pippen was when they fumbled the punt against South Aiken and let South Aiken get back in the game. Those are the type of things that'll bring them back.
This last minute has been at least exciting. Okay, nice little touchdown run by Moore after a reception. And then Franklin for the Grovetown Warriors, he takes 91 yards.
I'd say at halftime, probably the best bet and a little pooch kick we saw this last week. 30-yard line hit hard at the 30. North Augusta will take over 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, but last week I lost my train of thought as to where I was going with that. Anyway, Chandler Law Firm 1st and 10. They're going to spot him at the 29-yard line.
4:27 left in the half. Still time for other things to happen. We've seen it.
Man, North Augusta was famous for it in the past, of closing out these halves. These are different uniforms than we've seen in the past that North Augusta's wearing. Stack him up, he gets about a yard. We'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Number 58, Simeon Barrow.
And I am a little surprised that neither team has been able to run the ball with any continuous success at all tonight.
Consistency?
Consistency, none. That's a good word. Consistency.
Now, there's a fumble. And it was almost picked up.
Wow.
Incomplete pass. Oh, goodness gracious. That can't be a pass. It was backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that was incomplete.
We're going to look at the
let's see what this looks like.
Timeout, North Augusta.
No, I think he was trying to get that ball to the man.
He tried to shuttle it.
Yeah, but it might have been a lateral.
We'll see if we can get a replay of that again, maybe in slow motion as he rotates out. No, and that's earlier tonight. North Augusta is called a timeout. They're going to bring up, it's going to be incomplete, 3rd down and 9. But here's the play. He's going to roll out.
Let's see where that ball goes.
He's standing on the 25. Yeah, he's behind
24.
25, and it was forward.
Yeah, it was.
So that's a good call. It was the right thing from the standpoint of he sort of underhanded shuttle, but it's a forward pass, so it's incomplete. So a good call.
Good call by the refs.
Officials. So North Augusta got a break. 3rd down just past the original line of scrimmage. Going to drop back. Now we got a whistle and a flag. The flag came out a little late. I'm sure that's going to be a movement. I guess that's a delay call. When they start making that the delay call, I thought it was personal foul. But the delay used to be you hold your hands together and cross your arms. Oh, well. Learn something new every time. Third down in 14 and a half. So North Augusta's had their struggles tonight, too, offensively. And he threw it behind the receiver. He had a man out there. That was number 9, which is Grayson Bridges, the kicker for kickoffs. So the pass is incomplete. 4th down. Punting unit comes on with 3:45 left to go here in the first half.
I believe I'm going to have to check with that referee this weekend. I think I know him, and find out what all those penalties have been for at the beginning of this game and a couple different things.
They seem to be looking for something tonight with the uniform stuff. Fair catch called for. Nice catch at the 47, and Grovetown did not make a mistake, so that's a positive in that play. They actually rushed the punter on that, and Nichols got off a pretty decent punt.
All right, we got 3:39. That clock doesn't seem to be running too fast right now. We've had a lot of stops.
So North Augusta, on this exchange, Grovetown actually picks up some yardage. I guess that was the kickoff. And this is pretty good field position for Grovetown after what they've had all night. Now a pass complete. Good tackle. And that was to their ace receiver, Kirk Smith. He's been the main target tonight. He didn't think he was down, but they say he was down. He gained 4 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6.
Ridge Spring Monetta, 13-0 over Whitmer so far.
Yeah, you called that one.
They're back in their division. They'll start to have some success.
4 receivers, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Another play fake. Looking.
Now he's going to run. He's got some room to run. He'll get the first down as he carries that ball out there, swinging it around, and that's going to get knocked out. We saw it get knocked out as he was going out on the far sideline.
Yeah, that's right.
On this one, he gets into jacket territory to the 39-yard line. And Grovetown, who looked sunk a few minutes ago, now driving the football. 39 Channel Law Firm, 1st and 10. They're looking for the Tyler Tire end zone for the 2nd time tonight. Quick pass. Whoa, what a catch.
I don't think that was the intended receiver, but they'll take it.
That's a look what I found to Morris. Morris got up. Watch this. I think it's
2 receivers in the air. That's a nice catch, though. You got to give it to him.
All of a sudden, Grovetown having things go their way after nothing went right.
Bashan, came down with a nice catch. Bashan Morris.
Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10 at the 24. Now he's running, now he's throwing. He's got a man in the corner. He could not hang on. That was number 6, Tyler Mullins. Could not haul that in. I thought him running up may have got him open, but good job on defense.
Yes, it was. Good coverage.
2nd down and 10.
As he put it toward the edge there.
2nd down and 10. From the Yellow Jacket, 24.
Now they have abandoned the running game altogether, and I think right now might be a good time to go back to Brown. North Augusta looking for a foul.
There's another fumble, and I think North Augusta has that one.
North Augusta got it. North Augusta picked it up. 2:15 left to go. And their center situation seems to be tough.
It's cost them. And Curry Collier, number 36, he's a terrific football player. And these linebackers, as advertised, are very, very active, very good. That ball's on the ground, and Collier comes up with it easily. Big play for North Augusta.
Trajan Graham, who's a senior, is their center, but he's not listed as a center. He's listed as a tackle or a guard. So you got to wonder if maybe there's something wrong with their regular center, because they're having all kinds of problems on all kinds of snaps. Here's a pass that's going to fall incomplete.
That's Grayson Bridgers. They were trying to get it out of the hands to.
Intended receiver was Bridges. Bridgers could not hang on to it. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10. And game we were very excited about in terms of the prospects of the two offenses has not materialized so far. White has shown some ability to run the football. He's thrown a couple of good passes, but for the most part, they've been bottled up. He picked up 3 yards on that. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
Pretty nice tackle that time on number 32, Jeremiah Williams.
North Augusta splits 3 to the right, left rather, 1 to the right. Now a quick pass, and he's going to be bottled up. He makes a move, and he's still on his feet. And he's still up, and he's going to go down right about where he started. He made a lot of moves to get maybe a yard.
That was an active reception. Look at this thing.
Well, he picked up the 5 yards there to the 30, but right here, he gets hit and spins, and he only gets up about another yard to the 29, where it's going to be 4th down and 4. And another timeout on the field is called with 1:15 left to go in the first half. With North Augusta leading 14-6, and I think Grovetown called that timeout to see where they can get the ball and see if they can move it down the field. They're living right to only be behind 14-6.
They sure are. They could be much deeper in a hole. North Augusta failed to capitalize on a couple of big mistakes that Grovetown made in the first half, and then they gave up the 91-yard touchdown run, which it should not have happened probably, but it did.
I think the 6 points represents about half of the errors they've made on fumbles and mishandles and bad snaps. It just
and
goes
penalties.
On and on and on what they've done in the first half. North Augusta hadn't been much better, quite frankly. They've scored 2 touchdowns on 2 short fields due to the errors.
That's right.
That Grovetown has made. Nichols, and they just missed it.
They made a pretty good effort to block that kick.
They're going to let it roll.
Give Nichols credit. He got a good punt off.
Good job by Nichols to get that off and get a good punt off at that.
He was under some pressure. That's not a lot of fun for punters.
No. Even though he didn't get roughed, in the back of your mind, you know they're coming. The ball spotted at 33 for Grovetown. 1:03 left to go. North Augusta's defense has looked tremendous. And I'm sure they are adding to the plethora of problems. And it is picked off, and this is going to be run back. And down to it, touchdown North Augusta. And Grovetown probably just sealed their deal for the second half. Isaac Johnson with the interception takes it in, and that was over 50 yards, somewhere on the 50-yard of midfield for him to make that catch and bring it down. We got a player down for Grovetown, so we can go ahead and take a look at the instant replays. We've got a Aiken Regional Medical Center timeout on the field. And here's the play, and probably not a good idea to throw this one. Good up for grabs.
And he threw that into double coverage that time. The man was well covered. And that's a backbreaker right there. And like you just said 30 seconds before, their defense is looking very good. And that's a big play for the North Augusta defense right there. It gives them a cushion.
It was a floater, too. He floated it out there and gave the defense time to break on it. And that negates the kickoff return that Grovetown had earlier. South Aiken up 14-0 on Strom Thurmond. And I don't know if you saw that score earlier. Greenwood up 28-7 on Aiken. And we understand that's the halftime score. So South Aiken playing at home. It's their 3rd game in a row at home. You had to figure they had enough pride to really come up and play this game awfully tough. Still a half to go.
Tyler Nichols on to try the extra point. It's been perfect so far tonight.
The Grovetown player who's injured got up and walked off. Extra point is up and it's good. So 21-6 our score with 53 seconds left to go until halftime. And Grovetown, that's a really big score to give up at that point.
And he threw it into coverage. And of course, they're trying to make something happen, which they need to do.
Well,
no consistency on offense for Grovetown.
At that point, I would call it a win to get in at halftime, trailing by one score.
One score. After all the problems they've had, you're exactly right.
And that had no hope of being completed. And it's been that kind of half for Grovetown, except for the kickoff return. They got a 91-yard kickoff return that was actually a bobbled, muffed kickoff. The young man, who is number 3, Justin Franklin, was able to pick it up, made a move to his right to make a miss, and up the sidelines he went.
Bridgers with the kickoff, and I think we had an offsides.
Whistles fire up, and we've had quite a few penalties.
We have had a lot of whistles tonight to start this ball game.
On both sides.
I think they're moving back 5 and kick it again.
So they'll move it back to the 35-yard line. Bridgers will kick off. And Bridgers is correct. He's Bridger, an R at the end, S. Bridgers. People at home saying, well, why does he keep saying that? That's the way it's spelled.
That was almost offsides again.
And it's because he's not taking a full swing. So they're actually going to work well.
And Franklin looks like he fumbled the ball.
I believe if he did, he recovered it. It's at the 26-yard line. Channeled off from 1st and 10, 45 seconds left to go in the first half. Sloppy game.
That's a good word for it. It has been very sloppy.
On both sides.
Both sides, but particularly Grovetown. They have really had a tough time tonight.
Yeah, Grovetown's definitely winning the award of sloppiest. I'd say you'd call it a win if they can just get out without fumbling the ball again. And here comes Brown, and he finally gets some room to run. Finally.
All right, that's the best run of the night for sure for Grovetown. C.J. Brown.
I think, yeah, I understand that they're having a hard time running the football, but they can't just completely give up on it because both their running backs are pretty good.
I gave him the wrong initials that time, too. J.Q. Brown.
That was J.Q.
J.Q. Brown, excuse me.
44-yard line, clock running. Give it off and now hit hard in the backfield at the 40-yard line. That was a big hit behind the line for a big loss, 4 yards. So second time was not the charm. First time worked, second time not so much. They'll let the clock run out. And we're going to run this up to halftime. And our score at halftime will be North Augusta 21, Grovetown 6. And got to admit, I'm a little bit disappointed. Grovetown, I thought, was better than that last week, especially in the second half. Maybe they'll go to halftime and talk about it. And if I was going to spend the second half working on anything, I'd have the center quarterback exchange and the center to the punter exchange and work on that exclusively.
I tell you what, I think you're probably right. And I think the coaches might have the same thing. Rather than a chalkboard, just give them a football for halftime and let's snap the ball and make sure we can get that thing done right so that we have a chance to run our plays.
You know, and that's something that we saw South Aiken the first week. They snapped one over the punter's head. And I think we had some last week. Midland Valley, I think, snapped one over the punter's head. So we've seen it. Just underscores how important your snapper is on the long snaps.
There's no question. Okay, we talk about it all the time, special teams, especially punting. Okay, anything can happen, and we have seen it already this year many, many times. Fumbles, ball snapped over the head, and that one play where the kid, the ball was snapped over his head. I'm not so sure that he shouldn't have taken the safety back there instead of trying to punt it out of there, because they ended up with the ball on the 10, 15-yard line and took it right in for another touchdown. Give them the 2, okay, and live to fight another day.
All right, we're at the half. North Augusta leads over the Warriors of Grovetown 21-6 here in the Yellow Jacket Nest at North Augusta High School. We'll take a break. We come back, we'll listen to the sounds of the North Augusta High School marching band. The North Augusta Regiment will play here at halftime, and the Grovetown band is back. We might listen to a little bit of that when we return on the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
Young, healthy patients without glasses, maybe once every 5 years. So, but if you have glasses, you kind of want yearly visits to make sure you're in the right spectacles. You know, folks over the age of 50 or 55, we generally start wanting yearly visits at that point, because over the age of 50, you have a higher incidence of things like glaucoma, macular degeneration, those kinds of things.
Make an appointment today with one of our 4 doctors at Aiken Ophthalmology.
I knew he was in trouble. I didn't really know that it was a heart attack, but I knew he was in trouble. His right coronary artery was 99% blocked and already collapsed.
So within 10 minutes, they had put a stent in.
I'm so glad that we made that decision to go to Aiken Regional right away.
We definitely made the right decision in going to Aiken Regional.
I don't think we could have gotten better care.
High School, the Yellow Jackets lead the Warriors 21-6. The Warriors of Grovetown. We're going to get the band out there on the field, or they're out on the field. They're ready to go. And the North Augusta Regiment. So let's go to the field, and we'll listen to the North Augusta band play. lot like the band we saw last week, Grovetown, and you would be correct. That was the Grovetown marching band. So now, unlike last week where we had Midland Valley go first, this week North Augusta will go second. So now the North Augusta regiment will go out on the field. Again, we're at halftime. You got any thoughts while we wait for the band to get out there?
Well, I'll tell you what, the bands have been good both weeks, but what I'm wanting to see in the second half, I'd like either one of these teams to be able to run an offense and make it look like they're really able to have a bread and butter play, something that they can hang their hat on, be successful at, and they don't have to set the world on fire. But I haven't seen either one of these teams have anything that they can do consistently well. They've had a couple passes that they've completed, both teams, that have moved the football a little bit, but even that hasn't been consistent. And it surprises me. I thought both teams would be a little better offensively so far.
Yeah, North Augusta, their 3 touchdowns come off of inept offense by Grovetown, setting up the first 2 and then the interception on the third. The North Augusta defense has been outstanding.
It really has. They're very, very active. They're all over the place. They've got great penetration. Their linebackers are hitters. They'll knock you down and get after you. The defensive backs are also playing pretty well. We saw the nice interception that was returned for a touchdown. You can't get much better than that. So their defense, they look like they're in midseason form. All right, and I got to give Grovetown's defense credit too. They have shut down the running game for North Augusta. They've played pretty well. But when you give the team the ball on the 15-yard line and the 10-yard line and you have snaps over the guy's head and stuff like that, that makes it kind of tough.
Actually, Grovetown's had the only sustained drive. They didn't score on it. They started well back around the 20-yard line. They got all the way down to the 14 before it stalled. And North Augusta hasn't done that. They haven't showed us much at all on offense. So still a lot to go there.
Looks like some halftime scores here that are kind of interesting. Barnwell and Silver Bluff jumps out at me. 14-7 Silver Bluff.
That surprises me a little bit that the score is so low, actually. They've scored so many points, the 2 of them.
Yeah, but I think they're probably pretty aggressive defensive teams, both of them also. So 14-7.
And both of them have given up very little points.
Greenwood looks to get healthy. And I'll tell you what, one of the things that might have helped cause a problem for Greenwood last week when they got beat by Gaffney, it seems to me that their quarterback may not have played in that ball game. Rhett Lindler, we saw him in the first week against South Aiken, pretty good ball player. I did not see any stats for him in the paper or anything like that this past week, so he may not have played, and that might have hurt them. Maybe he's back this week because Greenwood seems to be playing better, 28-7. Whitmire is getting beat by Ridge Spring Monetta. That's good news for our local team. Wagner Sally all over Eau Claire. And Eau Claire, like I said at the pregame, they've already got more wins than they had last year, the entire season. They came in 2-0. Looked like they were playing very well, but Wagner Sally came back, and they're playing like we thought they might this year also.
Yeah, Eau Claire has been
bad over the years.
Yeah, very bad over the years. But we thought maybe they'd be okay. Well, Wagner Sally's, and it's good to see Wagner get their act together after losing a game that we really didn't think they'd lose that last week. Fox Creek apparently is fairly good.
Yes. Okay. And the score that really surprises me, South Aiken 14-0. Now, I would expect South Aiken to start to get better as the year goes on and so on, but it surprises me that they're holding Strom Thurmond scoreless so far.
Well, the fact that Strom Thurmond struggled with Aiken last week and just won by the actually less than a touchdown, 27-21. You had the feeling that Strom Thurmond maybe not as good as they were advertised as. They do have a very good quarterback, but South Aiken playing at home, you know they're going to have quite a game where they're going to come out and pull out all the stops and really play hard. They probably had a very hard week of practice this week. I'm sure you had really easy practices after your team started out 0-2, didn't you?
Well, not necessarily.
I can remember the days of hating it. But anyway, all right, the North Augusta Regiment is taking the field. They're now performing. Let's be entertained by the North Augusta High School Marching Band. Augusta Regiment with a shortened concert for us this evening. So, we're at the half. North Augusta leads 21-6. We'll take a break, and we'll be back for the second half kickoff when we return on the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
You can't always be there to protect her down the road. Make sure the tire she's riding on will. With the revolutionary Michelin Premier tire, even when half worn, it's still safe, thanks to EverGrip technology. The Michelin Premier tire, safe when new, safe when worn.
I always ask myself, would I want me to represent me? Would I want a lawyer who is prepared, who is passionate, who is capable? And every day that we represent our clients, we're telling our clients that you can count on us to bring every skill, every ability, and all of our passion in representing your interests. That's what it means to count on Chandler. That means that you can count on us to fight for you.
Aiken Ophthalmology provides high quality, comfortable, and dependable treatment in Aiken and North Augusta. With our newly expanded facility, we now have 4 experienced physicians that are up to date on the latest procedures, and our surgery center offers the finest eye care technology available to better serve you. Make your appointment today with Aiken Ophthalmology.
I had back issues for a while. I kept going back with different complaints. My doctor, he said, surgery's not going to do you any good. So I would recommend to you therapy. After therapy, I'm a lot better. I'm so grateful for that. I'm a lot better. Thanks to Aiken Regional Hospital for the joy that was put back into my life. Now I'm able to get on the floor and play with the children. And it's just a relief.
It all started at one family night in Dumfries, Virginia. Family night is for everybody. It's a time for families to do crafts together.
The kids just love going to Chick-fil-A for dinner. Being the single mom and getting everybody ready, it was tough. We would get there a little bit late, like on the tail end of it. Helen saw that I was having trouble getting them to Chick-fil-A for the family night on time and actually got it extended another hour. Noticing things like that, I never really told her how much she affected me, but she did.
Love you.
Move. Move.
The Jackets Nest at North Augusta High School, where the Yellow Jackets have stung the Warriors of Grovetown. I'm not sure whether they've stung them or whether Grovetown just stung themselves.
Well, I think it was a little bit of both. And at the beginning of this game, North Augusta won the coin toss, just deferred to the second half. So not only do they have a 21-6 lead, but they're going to get the football to start the second half. And frankly, if Grovetown cannot come up with some sort of consistent offense, this game's going to be over early.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. That's it. That's the North Augusta football history, a history lesson of the state champions, the 4A Division II champs in 1989. I remember that. State AA champs in 1958 and 1961. That I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Your father remembers that, though.
Yeah, well, he was at Carolina. He was, I don't know whether he necessarily remembers it. He was a senior at Carolina in 1958, 1961. They were probably living in Spartanburg, if I remember correctly. So
okay.
Maybe not so much. And the state runner-up in 1950, which he may remember that. I don't know whether Barnwell and North Augusta played back in those days. And, of course, in 1988, those were some good teams that North Augusta had in the 1988, 1989 seasons. And Aiken was very good back in those days, too. Aiken won a state championship a couple of years later. I think it was 92 that Aiken was able to win a state championship.
And you know, last year, North Augusta undefeated during the regular season, okay, and unfortunately lost early in the playoffs, did not go very far at all. I think they got defeated in the first playoff game, so they were disappointed about that. This year, frankly, I think they'll have a good chance to be undefeated again in their region. They'll have some competition, but we'll see what happens.
You know, at this point, I would say they're certainly better than what we've seen so far to some degree, but they're going to have to improve a lot to be worthy of making a run in the playoffs. That wasn't a very impressive first half. And it might be a little bit of who they're playing and Grovetown making so many errors that it tends to distract your game. Just like we're having a hard time getting a rhythm with all the penalties and all the fumbles and bad snaps and whatnots that we've had.
There is something to that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's tough for North Augusta to keep their rhythm as well. All right, the team's back on the field. North Augusta deferred to the second half. And North Augusta will receive. Grovetown will defend the north goal to start this second half.
And it is Buxton and Moore deep to receive the kick for North Augusta.
They're not very deep. They're right around the 20-yard line. I kept looking behind them going, where's the deep receivers? Well, they're playing up, and that's because the quarterback, Bryant, kicks off, and he always kicks a pooch kick right here. And that's what he does again. And, uh-oh. Well, they were able to, couldn't pick the ball up, but they were able to pick it up before the defense got there and keep possession at the 30-yard line. Chandler Law Firm 1st and 10 for North Augusta at the 30-yard line.
And Jakari Buxton was able to finally corral that ball. And both teams had a little trouble handling the kicks tonight.
Well, that's the idea of the short kick, is to pooch it down there and make it tough, and that's what they did. They skipped it on the ground, actually spotted it at the 29-yard line, so that's where they take over the Yellow Jackets 1st and 10.
Tanner White back at quarterback to start the second half.
He's got 3 wide receivers to his left. Going to go to one right in the slot, middle of the field, moves it up to the 40-yard line, about 10 yards. I think that'll move the chains.
And LaMarcus Moore, he's done a lot tonight for North Augusta. Returning kicks, special teams, some receptions, nice touchdown reception on a completed pass.
They're debating. I think they're going to bring the chains out and measure it. They spotted it back to the 39, so the nose of the football may have given them the first down, but they'll bring the chains out. Put a little jump rope, hopscotch over the chain as it comes out. And I think they're going to have this. No, they're going to be just short. It's about the half a football. So to bring up second down in inches. So 9.5 yards on the opening pass. And that's the pass that North Augusta has had success with, is taking the slot receiver, moving him up the field 5, 6, 7 yards and hitting him in stride. And some run for some pretty big yardage. Now on third down and short, a little pump fake. Now he was close to being over the line of scrimmage, and the referee trailing him is looking at it, and I think he was past the line of scrimmage. We'll look at the replay and see if he was. I'm pretty sure that he was up close to the 40-yard line, which would be a yard past. And we'll watch it. If he steps over that 40, that's a little pump fake. Yeah, he was up there at the 40.
Pretty close. And had to be pretty good coverage. Really didn't have anybody to throw it to until he bought a little time and then had somebody deep.
Now that will drive Brian Thomas crazy. They had second down and a half a yard. So they're going to call a legal forward pass. The House lost a down, so they lose the down in the yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. If they don't pick up the 1st down here, that's a really tough penalty to take there. Takes, throws it, and they get the 1st down. It's going to be a couple yards past to the 38-yard line. So they'll move the chains. Chandler Law Firm 1st and 10, and I'm sure everybody took a sigh of relief that after that penalty that they were able to pick it up.
And that was LaMarcus Moore once again on the reception, and they've had that pass a few times tonight. Been very successful for him.
3 split wide to the right this time. No one on the left side. It's going to hand off. And that's Buxton, who didn't do much in the 1st half. He leads the area in rushing, but picked up most of that in the 1st game. And now he picked up 2 yards, 2nd down and 8.
Jeremiah Williams among the tacklers that time. Also went on that play. We had number 21, Latrell Walker.
Now, quick play on the opposite side of the field, and that's going to pick up the 9 yards they needed to get the 1st down as they'll move the chains again. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. And that play's working. They keep going back to it. Ball gets into Grovetown territory.
LaMarcus Moore having a big night.
Good-looking ball player. 46.5-yard line. This time, 3 split wide to the left, nobody to the right. 1 lone back, handoff. Gets off. Gets a couple yards. It's going to bring up 2 yards and 2nd down and 8.
And they
2.5.
Yeah, they've been successful throwing the football, real quick, short passes, and then hoping that they'd be able to get the running game going. Here's our first cramp. I thought we'd have a lot of these tonight.
Yeah, with the heat up and the
humidity.
It's hot. All right, we've got an injury on the field. We'll take an Aiken Regional Medical Center injury timeout. We'll be right back.
Young, healthy patients without glasses, maybe once every 5 years. So, but if you have glasses, you kind of want yearly visits to make sure you're in the right spectacles. You know, folks over the age of 50 or 55, we generally start wanting yearly visits at that point, because over the age of 50, you have a higher incidence of things like glaucoma, macular degeneration, those kinds of things.
Make an appointment today with one of our 4 doctors at Aiken Ophthalmology.
Injury timeout, and who is the injured player?
Number 73, Noah Wright, offensive lineman. I thought it was a cramp, but it looks now like he may have a twisted ankle or knee.
Yeah, maybe worse than that. He's hopped off the field. He had to be helped. So they'll look at him on the bench, hopefully get him back together again. Now they're going to go long down the middle. Got a man who's got inside and catches it at the 15, 14-yard line. And that was number 11. Well, no, it wasn't Tanner White.
No, it was number 17, I think.
17 would be better. And there's no 17 on the roster.
Zion Dobbs.
Okay, you're right. Very quickly back to the ball. Tanner White. Little short screen pass. That bubble screen gets down to the 5. And that's, once again, your favorite receiver, LaMarcus Moore, making the miss. They spot him at the 6. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Moore with the catch and Walker with the tackle.
Hands off. No, he's going to keep. He's not going to get down. It's going to be pulled down for a loss. So it'll bring up 3rd down. About 2.5. This is North Augusta's best drive of the game.
Short passing game has worked in this series.
They're eating up clock at the same time. The opening drive of the second half, and North Augusta has moved it inside the 10. Now we got a whistle, and I guess Grovetown has called the timeout. They want to talk about it. We're going to talk to you about one of our great sponsors when we return on the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
I knew he was in trouble. I didn't really know that it was a heart attack, but I knew he was in trouble. His right coronary artery was 99% blocked and already collapsed.
So within 10 minutes, they had put a stent in.
I'm so glad that we made that decision to go to Aiken Regional right away.
We definitely made the right decision in going to Aiken Regional.
I don't think we could have gotten better care.
All right, Grovetown has talked it over as we look at one of the best plays for North Augusta. That started off in the first quarter, and now we're going to have an advertisement. All right, so North Augusta is ready, and they come back on the field. We got a 3rd down and 3. Grovetown holding out hope that they can keep North Augusta out of the Tyler Tire end zone. Hands off, and he's not going to get it. May have lost a yard. Buxton just can't get it going tonight.
Ethan Bush, number 25, on the stop. He's had a couple tackles. And Buxton and the entire running game for North Augusta stopped again.
So a field goal attempt. The only man in the area who has a field goal is Nichols. He's going to try to get his 2nd field goal of the season.
And he's got plenty of leg to make this without any question.
Kick is up, and it is good. So North Augusta takes the opening kickoff, goes down the field, gets inside the 10. It stalls, but they get the field goal on the board, and they lead 24-6. They took 4 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock, which now that works in their favor. And North Augusta with a big lead, 18 points.
And Tyler Nichols done a nice job tonight, extra points and now a field goal.
Came in leading the area and kicking for points, and he's added to that with 3 extra points and a field goal. I think he'll retain his lead.
And we're looking at the kickoff team here. Grayson Bridgers, once again, going to be the kickoff man. They've had good coverage tonight, with one exception.
One exception. The muffed kickoff.
The muffed kickoff, and
picked up, and
that was trouble.
See you later. And you know what they'll be working on in practice come Monday. Keeping containment. And that's actually one of those things that when the coaches review it, that's sort of a fluke play. There's a little pooch. Going to be picked up. And this is the man
this
who
is Franklin.
The first kickoff. Franklin, if he turns inside, if he can get away, he gets to the 30. He's a water bug.
That's a nice little run.
That's a water bug. He's little, as you pointed out, that he went 150 pounds soaking wet, even though they have him listed at that. But
he must be carrying the footballs out when they weighed him.
He's fast. He turned that thing inside, and it was like, uh-oh. Of course, if you hit him, he's probably going to go down.
All right, first series for Grovetown, the second half. Let's see if they can get something going.
Ball at 31-yard line. Chandler Law Firm 1st and 10. 2 split wide to the right. I formation. Now, that's a broken play. He's going to get outside, maybe pick up a couple yards.
And we've got a flag.
It appeared he went to the right and the backs went to their right, and the two shall never meet going that route.
Referee indicates it's holding against Grovetown.
I would say they take this penalty. It's 10 yards.
Push him back 10. And
1st and 20.
They're gaining yardage again.
And Grovetown has been their own worst enemy all night long. This will be walk back to the 21-yard line. And Barnwell cuts Silver Bluff's lead to 1 point as they get started in the second half. Spread the field. Back, going to throw it outside. That is a dangerous pass. He floated one out at the end of the first half. They got intercepted and brought in for a touchdown. That was not a very good throw, very low, and nobody could pick it off, much less catch it.
And once again, the snap was low and disrupted things. Got to have a little rhythm back there.
So 3rd down and 20, and Grovetown comes out and starts the second half with more of the same of what we saw in the first half. Actually, it's 2nd down and 20. And that's not good. People moving around. It's going to be another 5-yard walk-off against Grovetown. Be 2nd down and 25. Procedure, like I said, you had everybody moving left, right, back, forwards, and the ball wasn't snapped. I think it's in their head now, Coach. He's going to run or try to run. And it's going to end up positive yardage, but only a couple yards. They'll bring up 3rd down and pretty much forever. They'll give him 2 yards. 3rd down and 23 or so. Maybe 24.
R.J. Felton on the stop that time, number 23. And what have we got, 3rd and 24?
3rd and 24 is what it appears to be, so he picked up a yard on that play. That was another dangerous throw in the middle of the field with all kinds of people running around. He got fortunate on one play that he threw tonight that we think he was throwing to somebody else, and
well, on that play, you got to give your quarterback some time. There were 4 defenders in his face there.
I actually thought it was a screen pass, and then he throws it downfield. It would have been a perfect time to have a screen pass, but I don't think anybody was out there for a screen.
You know, you're right. That did look like a little screen pass blocking, but my goodness. You got to give him a couple. Oh, there's another high snap. Lucky to catch that one.
Gets it away. Here's more, and he's got some green in front of him. He's not going to take it in, but he's going to get positive yardage, get it down to the 36-yard line. North Augusta takes over. Channel Law Firm 1st and 10.
Now, you know, you got to like LaMarcus Moore. He's dangerous. He's dangerous on special teams, and he's dangerous as a receiver.
He's a good-looking player.
Yes, he is.
He had a big punt return last week in the second half that set up North Augusta.
Need some juice.
And now we're going to have a water break timeout on the field where we're finally going to let the players get some water. Don't know that we had one in the first half, but this is a night where they're going to need it. So we'll take a break. North Augusta leads 24-6, 6:11 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Aiken Ophthalmology provides high quality, comfortable, and dependable treatment in Aiken and North Augusta. With our newly expanded facility, we now have 4 experienced physicians that are up to date on the latest procedures, and our surgery center offers the finest eye care technology available to better serve you. Make your appointment today with Aiken Ophthalmology.
We thank Aiken Ophthalmology, our instant replay sponsor for the Aiken Ophthalmology. Did you see that? Instant replay.
And once again, North Augusta is getting the football in great field position.
And this coming off their best drive of the evening, the opening kickoff. This is their second possession of the second half. And they've got 37 yards to get to the Tyler Tire end zone. So let's see if North Augusta can sustain what they started with. There's a handoff for Buxton, and he does not get but maybe a yard. Be second down and 9.
Number 21, Latrell Walker, leading tackler for Grovetown over the season so far. Outstanding junior linebacker. And that's one of those plays where I think the whistle should have been blown, okay, so that you don't have to end up throwing a kid like that.
Got a tight end on the right side, one wide receiver to the right, 2 to the left. Gonna go right there in the middle of the field. That's been their bread and butter play on the pass. Grovetown can't adjust to it, and they're going to be inside the 20 to the 19.
And you're exactly right. That's a pass, or that route has been the one that they've completed time and time again. Just a quick little slant right into the seam, and been well thrown by Tanner White.
He throws that pass very well. Same formation. This time, handoff. And Buxton gets free and picks up some positive yardage. That's the first time we've seen him actually get a little room and run. He picked up 8 yards, second down and 2.
That's the best night of the, or best run of the night, I should say.
They're staying with the formation, and they seem to be wearing down North Augusta. And this time, Grovetown gets up and knocks him down right at the line of scrimmage. That'll be no gain, maybe a loss. Bring up third down and short.
And Jakari Buxton wasn't too happy with that tackle. Once again, it was Latrell Walker, number 21.
So third down and 4. He did lose a yard. White looks to the sidelines to get the signals. He's gone the whole way tonight at quarterback. Maybe part of that is the backup got crushed at wide receiver. Now White going to run. He's going to pick up the first down. He may get to the end zone. He's knocked out right at the 1-yard line. And White did a good job on that. He looked like he was hemmed in, but he turned on a little speed and got around the corner.
That was a nice run. A little bit of a broken play, but they'll take it.
A little bit sneak, and he pushes in, but there are yellow flags on the field, legal shift. So they'll back that up to the 6 and try again.
I do like the fact that he gets under center when they're on the 1-yard line. Referees explaining what went on and why it was not good.
Thank you for all your hard work. You were somewhere in the experience, but North Augusta will continue to work on that. That backs them up. First and goal now from the 6-yard line. First down, North Augusta.
They bring a man in motion. They ran some misdirection last week. They haven't done that tonight. Haven't really had to. And the pass in end zone caught, touchdown North Augusta, and North Augusta now having their way, and that was number 16, or was it 12?
Looks like 12 to me.
12 is Chris Wilder.
Easier to see the number on his shoulder than it was on the back of him. They get scrunched up every once in a while.
Well, you can't see their numbers on the field from up here in the booth. You have to go to the monitor to look. This is one of those jerseys that you just can't see. Kick is good. Nichols adds another point. 31-6 is our score. 3:56 left to go in the third quarter, and North Augusta now pouring it on. Looking good in this Aiken Standard Game of the Week. We'll be right back.
I had back issues for a while. I kept going back with different complaints. My doctor, he said, surgery's not going to do you any good. So I would recommend to you therapy. After therapy, I'm a lot better. I'm so grateful for that. I'm a lot better. Thanks to Aiken Regional Hospital for the joy that was put back into my life. Now I'm able to get on the floor and play with the children, and it's just a relief.
The Jackets nest at North Augusta High School, and North Augusta's Yellow Jackets stinging the Warriors of Grovetown 31-6 here in the third quarter of tonight's game of the week.
And you know, we talked about this a little bit at the pregame. This is pretty impressive that North Augusta has opened the season with 3 teams from Georgia and taking care of all 3 of them.
And they're all 3 pretty big schools.
That's right. They are big schools.
And your boy there, number 3, Justin Franklin, thought better of it and just stepped out of bounds at the 25 and said, okay, no seam there to run through. So Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10 at the 25. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and they went on the road to Evans, played Thompson for the first time since 1924.
Yeah, that's right.
Paid back Thompson for that big loss in 1924, where they got hammered. But this is a pretty thorough beating of Grovetown. Grovetown, of course, has not showed a whole lot tonight and have done themselves in. North Augusta, though, had the ball twice here in the second half, scored touchdowns on both times. There's J.Q. Brown, who picks up yardage. Again, we were impressed with him last week. He's had a hard time getting going. He got one long run in the first half, and that was close to the end of the first half. Picked up 3 yards on that, 2nd down and 7. Stay with the I formation. And Brown gets outside now. He's going to get positive yardage here, and he's a good runner in open field. They can get him in open field. He can really make moves and make things happen. He gets up to the 46-yard line. That's a nice run.
That is a good run. Fooled our cameraman a little bit. Okay, but that happens too. Great penetration, and the quarterback took a big lick. Brown had a decent run that time, and I think as the season goes on, Grovetown's going to have to try to figure out a way to get him the ball out in space a little bit so he can be dangerous.
Even get him out of the backfield and pass the ball to him, which we saw him try that last week. He picked up 13 yards on that play. Chandler Law Firm, 1st and 10. Rolls to his right. He's looking, and he does throw. He has a man, and he catches it. Did he stay in bounds?
I think that's a catch.
That's a catch. Number 13 is Michael Santos. And he's into Yellow Jacket territory at the 35.
And that was a nice stick after the catch, but a good completion.
A good route. He ran in between the receivers and found an open spot, and quarterback Bryant, who's been a little bit challenged this evening, put it where he could catch it.
Had a little time that time. He's been under some pressure tonight.
They rolled him out of the pocket, which got him a little bit of room. I'm sure North Augusta will spy him if he's going to start doing that and bring it up in his face. Here they come. And he gets a good throw. That time this is Michael Smith. Rather Kirk Smith. Kirk Smith picks up 8. Give him 9. 2nd down and 1 coming up.
And once again, good pressure by North Augusta.
Needs a yard and a half as it's spotted at the 26 and a half.
2nd down.
Now Grovetown showing a little life. I think they did that on the 2nd possession of the first half too. Now you get him out in space.
There you go.
And now you
there
get
you
big
go.
yardage and run out of bounds inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. And we talked about it, and then they do it. Got him on the outside.
Yes, indeed.
Got a block, and he can make people miss and run through them.
And he catches the ball well. We saw that last week, too.
Yeah. So the ball at 12, and this is Grovetown's deepest penetration on offense. They ran the kickoff back, of course, but haven't had much success on offense. They got to the 14-yard line in the first half. Looks to his left, going to have to run to his left and then get him, and he's going to lose 3 yards back to the 15-yard line.
And Cage,
and he comes up a little gimpy, does Bryant.
and Charles Hammond makes the tackle from his defensive line position. And once again, we saw it last week, Midland Valley and North Augusta, great penetration, okay? And, you know, Grovetown's just got to get a little better protection, get a little better blocking up front. Right now, they're just making it too easy.
Again, the center's number 77. We noted that earlier. He's listed as a tackle or a guard, and he's playing center. So you got to wonder if he's filling in for somebody who's hurt. And you can see the ears pinned back by North Augusta, and that pass falls incomplete. Pretty much just had to throw it and get rid of it. And you can see North Augusta just
teeing off.
Looking like bulls in the dirt, getting ready to come. That's where the screen pass would work as they bring JQ back in the game. With as hard as they're coming, throw it right over the top of their heads on a screen pass. And they go with the I formation. Fake pass, and now he's got a man. He makes a guy miss. He's going to get outside. He's going to pick up yardage. Ooh, that's a horse collar.
It might be. I don't see a flag, but
it's 14-yard line. And he looked like he was going to get the yardage, a little extra yardage, and he grabs him right there, grabbed his shirt. 14 yards. Yeah, on the 14-yard line. He picked up a couple of yards. So it's 4th down. And the clock's going to run out here in the 3rd quarter. So keeping it on the ground runs that clock, and we're going to wrap up the 3rd quarter, get ready to go to the 4th. We'll take a break. North Augusta leads 31-6 over the Warriors of Grovetown. We'll return in the Aiken Standard Game of the Week.
It all started that one family night in Dumfries, Virginia. Family night is for everybody. It's a time for families to do crafts together.
The kids just love going to Chick-fil-A for dinner. Being the single mom and getting everybody ready, it was tough. We would get there a little bit late, like on the tail end of it. Helen saw that I was having trouble getting them to Chick-fil-A for the family night on time and actually got it extended another hour. Noticing things like that, I never really told her how much she affected me, but she did.
Love you.
Move.
North Augusta recognizing the volleyball team, girls tennis, girls golf, and the boys.
The swimming.
It's swimming out there.
They got swimming out there too.
They got a bunch of athletes out there at the, what yard line is that? 25 yard line.
It was at the 25.
It's been nice to recognize some of the other fall sports that are going on. Barnwell now with a 21-14 lead over Silver Bluff. So not terribly surprised at Barnwell exerting themselves a little bit here in the second half. Again, Silver Bluff with the new coach, that's a tough game for Silver Bluff to win with Barnwell with the experience. Coach Garrett, you know, is going to have them ready. And that's a big rivalry game.
It is. That's a neat game. And actually, Silver Bluff is a great place to go watch a football game, too.
It is. I had Barnwell people texting me asking if we were going to be there for that game. No, Channel 6, I believe, is covering that one. And we have an agreement this year, which is a good thing. We're not going to the same games anymore. They'll do their games, we'll do ours. and we're glad to be here at North Augusta High School. So Grovetown, 4th down and 12. See what they came up with while they talked about it. And now here comes the pass rush. He throws it up for grabs, and oh, nice defensive effort. He looked for Kirk Smith. Kirk Smith got his hands on it.
And I don't think he was the intended receiver to start, but he nearly made a good play on that ball. I think it's the man coming from the right that he's looking for, and Smith ended up in there also.
They are coming through like there's no offensive line there at all.
They're under great pressure, or Brian is under great pressure.
And they've got a timeout on the field, and both teams have gone to the bench to talk about it. Not sure why. Well, they got a player down in the end zone, and they got him up. We had a Aiken Regional Medical Center injury timeout, and he's getting up and walking off the field without leaving all the coaches and trainers behind.
And that was Bashan Morris.
I think Bashan was trying to get in position to catch the pass, and he may have been the intended receiver.
I think he was.
Actually, giving Bryant credit, Bryant couldn't have possibly intended it for anybody just hoping somebody would be there under the pressure that he was under.
North Augusta takes over, 1st and 10.
Flip out, try to get to the edge. Buxton turns inside, makes a man miss, makes two men miss, and he gets up and gets good yardage. That's his best run of the night.
Yes, it is.
He'll move the chains. Chandler Law Firm 1st and 10 as the ball goes up to the 24. Ridge Spring going to get on the winning side tonight against Whitmire, get their first win of the season. Good to see that. We'll see them later in the season. I believe Wagner goes to Ridge Spring, and we'll be doing that game. Looks like a flag. They're going to bring that good run back. That'll be for naught. 10-yard walk-off, a holding against North Augusta. That'll bring it back inside the 10 to the 9. I suppose that was half the distance as to wherever it was on the field. So to bring up 1st and long, fakes the toss and going to get hit. Tanner White is not, he got the nice run down to the 1-yard line and scored the first touchdown on a very short run, but he hasn't really found room to run in the open field. There's a good look at him. He's one of those long hair lion type of guy. Got a mane. Something that.
Now they're looking like Grovetown. Another penalty.
Now, Coach has great hair, but for me, I'm a little jealous of that guy's hair. As I get older, I'm hair challenged. But I bet if you wanted to grow yours out that long, you could probably do it.
Oh, I could probably do that, yeah. I never have, but I probably could.
Half the distance to the goal to the 3-yard line, and North Augusta's going backwards. We're sort of gotten used to this tonight from Grovetown, but not North Augusta. North Augusta been much better here in the second half. Now White keeps it, and he's going to get a good run. Gets hit hard. And those are the kind of things that'll make your knee.
Yeah, that one stung just a little bit. You can see he felt that one. I don't know what injury he had early in the year that kept him out of part of the game, but if it was a knee or an ankle, that didn't feel too good.
That got him up to the 16-yard line, so 3rd down 9. Drop back now, another little screen pass. Good move, makes somebody miss. And he's going to be short of the 1st down. That was Buxton making the catch. And at least North Augusta ran the screen pass that we were calling for on the other side. Yeah, it's a nice move right here in open field. Makes that guy miss. Oh, he holds on. Give him credit for
Yes, indeed.
not giving up on the play. So a punting situation for North Augusta. And now we
Still
got
getting more people out there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
That was 11. That by the time they got out there, they had to call timeout.
Coach Thomas called the timeout, and a little teaching moment here. Bring him over and probably yell at somebody for not paying attention. Coaches don't like that either.
No.
This is what we practiced.
And I'm sure they have a special teams coach whose job is to make sure that they got 11 when they get out there to punt.
9:52 to go, 31-6. North Augusta here, well, it's been, the offense is, I wouldn't say it's been hitting on all 8 cylinders in the second half, but it certainly looked a lot better in the second than it has in the first half, and the defense is playing every bit as good.
So it's 4th down, 3 yards. Grovetown pretty much just going through the motions. 9:52 left in the ball game, and I think they're ready to get back to Georgia and see if they can right the ship. They put some pressure on. They haven't blocked one yet.
Nichols has done a good job punting the football tonight, and he's had a couple times when there has been significant pressure.
And Tyler Mullins did a good job with nothing but North Augusta players in his face. He caught it on a fair catch. So the 46-yard line is where Grovetown will take over. Channel Law Firm 1st and 10. And we'll see. This is a point in the game where you got to figure North Augusta's going to have some guys to give them some minutes who haven't played all night. Got the game well in hand. High formation. 2 split wide to the right, 1 to the left.
Grovetown needs scores and they need them quick. They go to the I formation. They're on their own 46-yard line. Go right to left.
Handoff.
Right side with Brown. He stumbles for a second.
Brown able to stay up, but only gets a couple of yards. They actually got 1 yard. 2nd down and 9.
2nd down and 9. Greenwood. Pick up the 1 on the play. Brings up 2nd down and 9. 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, leading Aiken. So Aiken, obviously Greenwood taking care of business there, but Aiken playing a little better.
Haven't had a South Aiken score. Be interested to see how that game is going. See if Strom Thurmond is able to get back in it. We know that Greenwood is running it up against Aiken. There's another fumble. And the ball's on the ground. North Augusta picked it up. I think he was down and he picked it up, but North Augusta recovers another fumble. As Grovetown probably has about, I don't know, 10 maybe tonight.
There have been at least 10 drop balls, I think. Snap exchange, fumbles.
That'd be our over-under.
Yes, it would.
And penalties, 5-yard penalties, they've got at least 10 to 15 of those. Bad snaps, that's probably a fairly large number. There's Buxton. Buxton's still in the game. They're trying to get Buxton going. They haven't had Williams in the game. We haven't seen Williams very much tonight, who's the other running back, Malik Williams. He gained 3 yards on that play, 2nd down and 7. And I would imagine they're just trying to get Buxton going. You would think that the defense for Grovetown be wearing down a little bit here in the second half.
They've been on the field a lot. There's no question about that.
There's a quick bubble screen and dropped it. Julius Walker couldn't hold on to it. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
That ball hit him right in the chest, and there was a corner coming right at him, and he just couldn't hang on. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 7 for the Yellow Jacket offense at the 42. It's important for North Augusta to keep getting 1st downs here, keep the clock moving.
Let's see what North Augusta does. I would say you run the ball here and try to keep the clock going. And there's a delayed handoff. Well, he keeps. He gets around and he's going to pick up the first down and cut him down as he approached the 25-yard line. Good run by Tanner White. Said he wasn't getting much in the open field, but he got a couple big runs here in the last two possessions. He shows some good speed. I don't know if it's so much speed as it is elusive.
Well, I was going to say, he doesn't have the breakaway speed that we've seen sometimes by the quarterbacks that run that play that they just did there, the zone read and things. But effective that time.
Yeah.
And he's had a decent ball game tonight. He's made some good passes.
Yeah. First down 10. Defense comes up and hits Buxton. He's going to lose yardage on that particular play. Probably lose 2. That'll bring up second down and 12. Lost 3.
And Ethan Bush for Grovetown, he's still playing. He's in the backfield immediately. Great penetration. Hits the ball carrier just as he received the handoff.
So second down 13. Clock runs, 7:05 left to go in the ball game. Buxton goes to one side, and White brings him back, pitch to him, and there's nothing but defenders out there. And he may have lost, he got back to the line of scrimmage, I'll say. Third down and 13.
4 defenders there to be exact.
There was nowhere to go for him on that one.
Receivers just could not hold it there, and Buxton had no running room.
A little bit surprised at this point that you keep White in the game and don't bring the backup quarterback. Now, he may be hurt, but Godwin was playing at wide receiver and took a shot. Well, he may not have a choice. Now he's going to sprint out to his left. He's under pressure. Going to get to the outside, slips out, tackle. What a move. The guy's elusive as crud.
And I think he's having a little fun out there.
Again, he's not that fast, but he's fast enough. And then he picks and chooses his way around. It's going to bring up 4th and 4. Pick up a 7 on the play. There's offsides on Grovetown.
They didn't
call the play. I could have sworn he hit the guy.
Grovetown clearly jumped into the neutral zone, and now North Augusta going to take a timeout to talk about this 4th down play with 5:15 to go in the game. We're going to take one with them. North Augusta 31, Grovetown 6.
At this point, I don't think that North Augusta is going to worry too much. He's having some words for the penalty of not making the call, but that's the way it goes. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Young, healthy patients without glasses, maybe once every 5 years. So, but if you have glasses, you kind of want yearly visits to make sure you're in the right spectacles. You know, folks over the age of 50 or 55, we generally start wanting yearly visits at that point, because over the age of 50, you have a higher incidence of things like glaucoma, macular degeneration, those kinds of things.
Make an appointment today with one of our 4 doctors at Aiken Ophthalmology.
Good look at the student body at North Augusta, who come out and support their Yellow Jackets. Make some noise. And they're still making noise despite the fact that they're up 31-6. And it hadn't been real pretty. But when you're winning, it's all pretty.
Yeah, that's right. You can win ugly, and that's what they did tonight. They won ugly.
So 4th down 4. North Augusta going to go for it. Brings a man in motion. He went a little early. I don't know.
He might have.
And White fakes this throw. And it's intercepted. And now going to try to get outside. And he's got some room to run. If he can outrun, he can't outrun that last man. Oh, he spikes it.
Oh, now they're going to give him a penalty. She makes a nice run back there.
And Buxton, the running back, made the tackle. I think Tanner, they're saying on the radio broadcast he could have run and just kept it for the 4 yards, but he decided to throw it. And I thought he might be over the line of scrimmage again. Just to see what they're going to say.
All right, Ethan Bush made the interception. Unsportsmanlike.
That's just what we needed, was one more penalty.
A little frustration.
He was throwing it down because he thought he was going to go. We got a final at South Aiken, and I look like I might know what I'm talking about. It's South Aiken wins a big one, 14-0 over Strom Thurmond. Keeps Strom Thurmond off the scoreboard. Never saw that coming.
That surprises me. That surprises me that they kept him off.
So congratulations to South Aiken. That's a big win for them that they needed badly. Lose all 3 of your home games to open the season, that'd be tough to swallow, especially after the success that Coach Hamilton has had with the Thoroughbreds. So good win. Congratulations. I'm sure Strom Thurmond will bounce back. That was a tough call, tough game for Strom Thurmond.
Next week, South Aiken goes to Lexington.
And you never know about Lexington. They could be good, and they could have very little.
Brown keeps him in bounds. Able to get it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a little bit past it. More importantly, kept him in bounds.
Strom Thurmond next week will take on Midland Valley. And we didn't mention 2 teams tonight very much, but Williston Elko and Midland Valley both had the night off. And I think that was a good thing. Both of them have suffered 2 losses. Probably needed a week to recoup.
And Fox Creek played last night and won. So Fox Creek.
And you got to give them credit. They played on a short week after a win, and that's tough to do sometimes.
And beat Wagner, which we felt like was a pretty tough game to go to Wagner. And that was J.Q. Brown could not get outside. And Eau Claire back to their ways of football, and Wagner Sally putting it on them, 58-6.
You know, it really makes a difference when you play in your own division, doesn't it?
It really does.
And these teams, a lot of the smaller schools, it's tough when they bump it up and they're playing one of these larger teams. It makes it hard.
Well, Wagner lost last week to Fox Creek, so you know they had a tough week of practice because they're still probably a pretty good football team.
Oh, I think they are.
That shows 58 points against a team that was 2-0.
Yep.
All right, Grovetown trying to run out the string here. Brown's hit at the 2-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down, and this could be an adventure for this punt.
I was just going to say the same thing. This is going to be something. They don't have the normal distance to snap the ball. Of course, now they have snapped it over his head a couple times, so maybe they need the shorter distance.
They might want to go ahead and just take the safety and go ahead and kick it off.
Let's see if North Augusta rushes at all. They may call off the dogs here and just say, hey, let them punt it and we'll go from there. Because I think if they come after it, they could get it.
It's a different punter. That's Kirk Smith punting as opposed to the quarterback, who's had a very difficult night, Corey Bryant. I think he's taking a couple of really big hits. And they get it out and punts it away. It's not a bad punt. It's going to get out of the end zone. But here comes number 8. And they hung him up. He's a tough runner. That's Moore. And that gets it to the 31-yard line. And say, here we go again in 2 minutes, 19 seconds. And I would guess that North Augusta keep it on the ground, try to just run this clock out.
And let's see if Tanner White is back in there. Yeah, he is. Tanner White staying in the ball game.
Again, I haven't seen Godwin back in the game even at wide receiver, so I'm wondering if he was injured and just can't go. I can't find number 2 out on the field. Of course, I can't read their jerseys anyway. There's another loss. Ridge Spring beats Whitmire tonight, 38-6. So some big scores all around. This one, another one.
Under 2 minutes to go now.
Sounds like the Silver Bluff Barnwell game is basically the closest. 14-0. No blowout for South Aiken, but keeping Strom Thurmond out of the end zone, that doesn't happen too often.
And he does. Miller gets the carry again right up the middle. Crosses the
So North Augusta keeping it on the ground, running this clock, which we appreciate it. We ought to at least let you know that's Alex Miller carrying the ball, so they have gotten in one of the backups. They'll go shotgun. I imagine this will be a short handoff to Miller. Surely they won't run Tanner again.
And they're letting the clock run down. I like that.
Yep, hand off to Miller. Miller's into the middle of the field. No flags on the field to stop the clock. That's a good thing. Had plenty of them tonight, and probably enough as the clock ticks down less than 40 seconds. It's probably one more play coming from North Augusta. If they don't pick up the first down, they'll let Grovetown run the clock out. And you forget they have a play clock here, which is a good thing. We don't go very many places that have play clocks. North Augusta, one of the few. There's Miller. He'll not pick up the first down, and that'll get the offense off the field. And Greenwood, well, they can hide at least, showing a little bit of life, scoring 21 points. They scored 2 touchdowns here late. They were behind 35-7. They got 2 minutes left to go in that ball game.
Well, they've done that the last couple of weeks. They've put some points on the board. Still may need a little work. We talked about the fact that they got to tackle a little better, and maybe that's true again tonight. Giving up 35 points. That's a lot of points to give up.
Well, as I said before the game, going to Greenwood is tough. That's a tough place to go. It's an intimidating place. Your visitor locker room sits in the pine trees. You got to walk through those pine trees to get down to the field, and the crowd gets louder and louder as you come through the pine trees. It's a neat place to play high school football, and that's one of the reasons Dan Pippin left this place, North Augusta, which was a great place. He had a great time here, but I went with them when North Augusta played Greenwood in the playoffs and went through all of that, and we were all pretty impressed with Greenwood. And they all come out for the football games in Greenwood. That'll be our last play, as it's mercifully coming to an end. Final seconds tick off, and North Augusta runs their record to 3-0 on the season as they take care of Grovetown. They give up the one touchdown on the kickoff, and they send the North Augusta players over to the sidelines to pay tribute to the student body, which is a little bit odd, instead of coming across the field and shaking hands with the that's actually awkward looking that they didn't run over there and shake hands. I guess that might be, last year they got into the fight with South Aiken in the handshake line, and maybe they've taken a new stance, and we ain't going to shake hands and put ourselves in that position anymore. I don't think Grovetown was going to do anything, but you never know. But they ran straight, and the coaches directed them all the way over to the student body to do the alma mater.
There you go.
But anyway, good win for North Augusta.
It is a good win. I mean, the defense really dominated the ball game. They were very, very disciplined. They were very, very aggressive. To be honest, Grovetown didn't have any offense to speak of tonight. They completed a few passes and, picked up some yardage, but very, very fine defensive effort by North Augusta.
Very impressed with North Augusta's defense. Obviously, the one touchdown was the long kickoff return on the muffed kickoff And other than that, there's 2 sustained drives by Grovetown that did not result in any points. North Augusta rose up right inside the 15-yard line on both occasions and stopped them and took over on downs. So a very good performance defensively by North Augusta. Offensively, they got some things to work on.
Yeah, and I tell you what, their special teams also pretty decent, okay? Especially LaMarcus Moore. He impressed me tonight with his punt returns. They punted the ball decent. Of course, they made all their extra points and field goals. And now we may have both teams starting to shake hands over here, or now they're just going to gather under the goalpost.
Again, that's a little bit different from what we've seen of all the high school games we've done in the last 9 years. they always shake hands after the game, but oh well. And Grovetown's sitting over there on the ground. They expected him to come over at some point. Well, we'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap things up for another Aiken Standard Game of the Week, and we'll see if the players get to shake hands when we return.
I knew he was in trouble. I didn't really know that it was a heart attack, but I knew he was in trouble. His right coronary artery was 99% blocked and already collapsed.
So within 10 minutes, they had put a stent in.
I'm so glad that we made that decision to go to Aiken Regional right away.
We definitely made the right decision in going to Aiken Regional.
I don't think we could have gotten better care.
First class act. And the monitor went out, so we're back here on the field, and there we go. Final score tonight, North Augusta 31, Grovetown 6. Glad I memorized that because they turned the scoreboard off too. You don't see them turn the scoreboard off when you win the game usually, but you see that on losses. At any rate, any final thoughts?
Well, 31-6, it looks worse than it was, really. I mean, without some of the mistakes that Grovetown made, it wouldn't have been that bad. It wasn't a completely dominating game for North Augusta, but hey, 31-6, let's take it, okay? You're 3-0, moving on for the season. You're in great shape, and now you're starting to play some of the people that you're used to playing, and I think North Augusta will improve as the season goes on. And the area that they most need improvement on is a little more consistency, as we said throughout the night, in their offense. We want to see them run the ball a little bit more and complete the passes. That one pass that they threw consistently tonight was that little slant, and they did that very, very well. And Tanner White threw that well. So there's a lot of positive things tonight, but also some things that they obviously have to work on.
And where is North Augusta next week?
North Augusta, yeah, I can tell you where North Augusta is next week. We're looking at a few of the different teams. Obviously, our game of the week next week is going to be McCormick traveling to Fox Creek.
Well, we'll be back here in North Augusta, but we'll be at the old field down by the river, which is where North Augusta played back in the 50s, 60s before they moved over here in the 70s into this new complex, which again is awfully nice.
All right, then North Augusta's got to travel up towards the Columbia area and play Blythewood.
Blythewood?
Yep, playing Blythewood.
All right, somebody who's playing Lexington next week?
Okay, Lexington is South Aiken is playing Lexington next week.
I knew we heard that earlier. So at any rate, so North Augusta will go up and play Blythewood. Have no idea what Blythewood is doing so far this year, but they're on a roll. They beat Evans at Evans last week, and they're looking good.
Yes, they are. Okay, just to give you a little rundown, Aiken next week will be playing against White Knoll, up at White Knoll. Okay, that'll be a tough job for them. Barnwell, we don't know exactly how that game finished tonight yet, but they're playing Burke next week at home. Okay, Fox Creek, as we said, is going to play... let's see here. Fox Creek is playing McCormick. Okay, they're playing McCormick at home. Midland Valley will resume, and they're going to play Strom Thurmond. Ridge Spring Minetta will go up to, well, they actually get a bye next week, and then they're going to play North the following week. All right. Silver Bluff, Denmark, Olar next week. And Wagner Sally is going to play HKT next week. And Willis and Elko had a week off here, but they're going to Allendale Fairfax next week.
And that should be a winnable game for Williston if they try to right the ship over there where they've taken two hard losses. But we're going to come down here and see Fox Creek. Fox Creek took the week off so they could get ready and do a really great performance for us.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
And we don't know all lot about McCormick, but we'll learn this week who McCormick is and what we're going to see, and we'll have all that action for you next week when we travel back to North Augusta, but we'll be down at the old stadium next to the cemetery as we go down West Buena Vista Avenue and play down there on that. It's really a throwback.
They still call that Lions Field?
It's Lions Field, that's
Lions
right.
Field.
That's exactly what it's called. Good call. That's good memory.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll be there. But for tonight, North Augusta is victorious here at the Jackets Nest as they win 31-6 over Grovetown. For all the crew here tonight, for Ken Brace, I'm Ed Gerardo. We thank you for joining us for the Aiken Standard Game of the Week. We'll see you next week at Fox Creek. Good night, everybody.